Again. Today I'm presenting Recruiter's interview scheduler application that was created using Vite, React, TypeScript, Tailwind CSS. And the app has been deployed to Vercel. And for unit testing, I've used VTest, React testing library, and then JS DOM. So the app allows the user or the recruiter to select a candidate from a drop down like this. The drop down informations are fetched from an API call. I'm hitting a dummy JSON endpoint and hitting the user URL. And once the data is fetched, I'm adding a logic for availability to map it to each candidate and showing it to the UI. So by default, the first element in an array is chosen, and you can see a banner showing a preference and the bookable slot highlighted on the weekly calendar. And I also have an engineer filter here. By default, all of them are chosen, and you can also switch between the engineers like this, and you can see the legend and the calendar itself is updating according to the filter options. And I also have an interview duration selection. By default, 30 minutes is chosen, and you can also switch between a 15 minutes and a 60-minute time slot, and the weekly calendar updates accordingly. So Emily Josser prefers Monday 9 to 12 p.m. So let's say when I choose engineers as all, the weekly calendar is chosen, and the preference window is highlighted with a slightly gray background, and the bookable match will be having a green outer outline and highlighted like this. The rest of them are grayed out and it's not clickable. Nothing happens if you click on it. And let's say if I'm picking up the 9 to 9:30 slot, a modal appears on the screen and you can either cancel it or confirm it. For the modal, I've added a modal root element on the DOM tree, and I'm rendering the modal on the modal root element ID on the DOM tree using the create modal. So let's say if I'm picking up the 9 to 9:30 slot and clicking on confirm interview, a toast appears confirming the interview, and you can see the modal route was the one that was highlighted, and the 9 to 9:30 slot is now booked. If I switch to 15-minute slot, the 30-minute slot is already taken, so 2 15-minute slots are booked. And if I switch to 60-minute slots, the entire slot is booked because 30 minutes is already chosen, so rest 30 won't be available for the recruiter. So if I switch to 15-minute slot, I'm taking 9:45 to 10 a.m. and confirming the interview, and switching back to 30 now. The entire 30 is booked because the rest 15 won't be available as the duration is 30 minutes. The app itself is responsive, so you can see it adapts to the screen size like this. And this is my code base. Let me quickly run the unit test. So you can see the test cases have passed. I've added tests to the times and the calendar utility functions, and I've also added tests for some components in here. So this is how the code structure looks like. I have an API folder for API related informations and components for the components, mock data, hooks, types, utility functions. And I've also added the testing related configuration files. I've modified these, added dependencies and all. And for the modal, I've added the element in here, and I've also done some configuration tweaks for the themes, Tailwind CSS. And in the app, I'm also using the hook, custom hook, consuming the states and the state updating information. I have a use ref here for the modal to trigger the modal, and to expose this open function, I've added a use imperative handle hook on the modal component like this, and create a portal for fetching it on the root element. And in the hooks, you can see I have use effect for making API calls, use states for managing states, and use memo for memoizing the values. So this is how the app performs. I've added unit testing like this, and a basic readme file. So that's all with the app. Thank you.